If you're an ambitious founder but you're lazy, this video is for you. Because at 21, I was going through bankruptcy, I was completely lost, and I was labeled as a lazy loser. But today, I've started 5 multi-million-dollar companies from absolutely nothing, traveled all around the world, worked with over thousands of founders that I help, and I genuinely love the work that I do every single day. But none of this would have happened if I didn't follow these 5 steps. So if you're ready to cut off the old version of you, this is exactly how to do it. And number 5 is actually the most important one. All right, step 1 is to make the task stupidly small and change how you operate every single day. The reality is your brain by default, it wants to avoid hard things. We're wired for pleasure, not pain. And hard things just mean more pain. So you want to stop giving complicated or heavy things right now. And this is called shrinking the task, and it's the lazy entrepreneur's secret for actually getting started instead of just thinking about getting started. Here's how it works in practice. Instead of build my business, the task is write 1 sentence on the sales page. Instead of launch my offer, the task is write my name of the offer. Instead of starting a YouTube channel, it can be something like record 1 minute on my phone. And that's it. Embarrassingly small and stupidly simple. And here's why it actually works. Your brain has something called a resistance threshold. So anything that feels big, overwhelming, or uncertain gets blocked 90% of the time. But anything that feels easy and non-threatening flies right through. So no resistance, no procrastination. So when you shrink that task small enough, very small, your brain stops fighting you and just rolls with it. And once you start, you almost always keep going because starting is actually the hardest part. But motion creates momentum. So you sit down just to write 1 sentence and you end up writing a complete landing page. You write the name of your offer and that's it. And then you end up completing the entire package. So here's your system for this. Every morning or every evening or whenever you have a quiet moment to yourself in a quiet zone, write down 1 task for tomorrow. Not a to-do list, but make it so small, it almost feels like it's cheating. And you want to do that 1 thing first before anything else. And that single habit done consistently compounds into more progress than any 18-hour grind that you could ever do. Your journey of 1,000 steps in business really just starts with this 1 small step. Step 2 is where laziness stops being a personality trait and starts being an actual business strategy, which is to automate everything you hate. Now let me tell you a story. I used to be super embarrassed about this, but actually looking back and where I am today, it's the smartest thing I've ever done for myself. When I got into business, everyone around me was grinding like crazy and I was low-key jealous, super jealous. They were like cold calling hundreds of people, building land pages like the Flash, running webinars every single week, closing new clients, and posting consistently every single week, the full thing. And I was just doing none of that. Nothing. I was not doing anything. I was slow, I took my time, and instead of copying what everyone else was doing, I just kept asking myself 1 question. Is there a way to make this work without me doing all of it? So I spent a week, maybe even a month at that time, not grinding at all, but just kept researching, which led me to testing multiple different tools and softwares with the goal of making things easier, not harder. And then I ended up, by chance, by mistake actually, with a complete system where 1 hour of work produced multiple different results, materials, and even content for an entire week across multiple different platforms. Just because I was lazy and I didn't want to do it the hard way, I accidentally built out this machine that did what everyone else was doing, grinding super hard, 12 to 14 hours a day, but I did it in 1 hour. I just got smart while being lazy. So here's how you build your automation machine right now, and most of these tools are actually free. For your copywriting, Claude Sonnet can write your entire emails, captions, scripts, and sales copy in just minutes. For video content, if you plan to do that, Descript or CapCut's AI features can automatically edit all your videos and do the ideation. For customer replies, responding to customers, set up an AI chatbot on your website or your Instagram account, and it handles all the DMs from FAQs, qualified leads, and even responds at 2 a.m. while you sleep. For research and ideas, this is my personal favorite, is you can use AI tools that can actually do trends, summarizes articles, generate content ideas, and even overanalyze all of your competitors in seconds, whether it's ChatGPT or Claude as well. So here's the thing, the lazy founder's job is not to do all this manually. It's to build the system once let it run, and only step in when a human touch is actually needed. Step 3 is actually counterintuitive, but it's actually what separates founders and entrepreneurs who grow from ones that just stay busy doing nothing, which is to just pick one thing and ignore everything else. Lazy people like me cannot juggle 47 things at once, and I'm telling you, that's actually a gift, a genuine competitive advantage that most motivated founders don't have. Here's what kills most new founders. They chase every trend. They chase every single strategy out there. They start a YouTube channel, podcast, a newsletter, a TikTok, a course, a coaching offer, a dropshipping store, an Amazon business, all at the same time. They spread themselves so thin that nothing actually gets real traction. And then they burn out, and then they quit before any of it had a real chance. You see, the lazy founder can't do that. We're too lazy. We just don't have the energy. So we're forced to pick, and that focus, that's where the growth actually happens. So here's how you can actually apply this. You wanna ask yourself this one question. What's the single most important thing that I can do today that can actually move my business forward the most? Not 10, not 5, just one thing. Do that first before anything else. And if you finish it and you have all this energy, great. Then you can pick the most next important thing and repeat that, but you never sacrifice the one thing for the many things. Because here's what happens when you actually do this. You get good really fast. You build on this one skill, and this one skill compounds the same way that money does. You just grow and you get better. So the longer you stay in one lane, the bigger your advantage becomes over everyone else that's scattered across multiple 20 different lanes. Step 4 is where you stop thinking like an actual worker, but like an actual founder, someone at the very top, which is to outsource all of the things that actually drains your energy. So here's the rule that I personally live by. If someone else can do these specific tasks right now, that's less than what my hour is worth, I shouldn't be doing it. Think about that for a second. If your goal is to, let's say, generate $100 per hour in your business, then every hour you spend for $10, even $20 tasks, that ends up costing you $80 every single time. So here's a practical breakdown that I would recommend to start out with, where you can actually outsource and how. For video editing, hire an editor on like Fiverr or Upwork. You can find solid editors anywhere between $15 to $30 per video, and that's nothing compared to the 3 hours that would actually save you. Inbox and scheduling, which you can just hire a virtual assistant to manage all your emails, book your calls, handle all your calendar meetings for as little as $5 to $10 an hour through platforms like onlinejobs.ph or Fiverr. Graphic design, you can use Canva AI to do all of this, to handle most of it with all their pre-made templates. Customer support can be a combination of AI chatbot and an actual VA if you need one. But the point is, this breakdown is to just start small. You have to start somewhere it doesn't feel overwhelming. You don't need to hire a full team. You just need to pick the one task that actually drains you the most right now, the one that you dread every single week, and you find a way to just get it off your plate first. So your energy is the engine of your business. Stop wasting it on tasks that don't require you. And step 5, the last one here, and I actually want you to save this one specifically, like write it on a sticky note somewhere because it's actually super important. You must, and I'll say it again, you must stay in the game longer than everyone else. That's it. That's the whole strategy. And it's actually the most powerful thing in business. When I first started, when I was just like an early entrepreneur, everyone around me was sprinting, like actual diving. They were loud, they were fast, and they were fired up, moving at a pace that made me feel like I was super behind everyone else before I even get started. And I was slow, and I took my time. I sit with one strategy for weeks while others already had like 3 moves ahead of me. It was like playing chess. They just knew 3 steps ahead. I didn't even know my first step ahead. And people told me that, hey, Jaiden, you're actually not that serious if you're not taking this kind of step. And that I didn't really want it bad enough. But here's actually what happened over the next year or two. Those fast movers, those people that I was jealous of, those people that made me feel like I was super slow, one by one, they all burnt out. All the same strategies they used to really sprint and get a lot of results stopped working, and their sales end up getting worse and worse. They ran out of momentum and then just quietly disappeared. It was sad, but it was the reality. But I was still there. I was still hanging around. I wasn't crushing it. I was not hitting $100,000 months, but I was still just here, slowly figuring things out, still showing up, still learning, still developing my skills. And then compounding kicked in. And the truth about business and with anything great in life, to see results, almost they never come when you want them to. They come when you least expect them. It comes after the point where you almost want to quit. It comes when you've been going for so long enough that your skills actually sharpen and get better. Your prospect starts to trust you, and the market actually starts to recognize your name and what you stand for. So think about your own journey, right? How many people in the past have started around the same time as you did and just end up quitting, whatever it is, whether it's for business, fitness, or other things, other activities. But in business, think about the ones that maybe you looked at. They had a bigger team, they had more cash flow, they had more sales, they had more customers, they were more recognized, they had better marketing, and yet chances are they're probably still not around anymore, but you are. You're still showing up. You see, the lazy entrepreneur has a secret advantage in this game. We never pushed so hard that we burned out completely. We rested when we needed to. We moved slowly enough that our journey never broke us. And so we lasted. And in business, lasting is the strategy. One more year, one more month, one more funnel, one more landing page, one more skill, one more client, one more day of not giving up, one more attempt. That's all it takes. Keep the standard low enough so that way you can always just clear it. Keep showing up. Slow and steady doesn't just win the race. In business, it's the only strategy that survives long enough to actually cross the finish line. So that's why companies like Apple, Amazon, Costco, Walmart, Lululemon, Nike, and all these big brands that you probably are familiar with right now in today's world have survived and became a global powerhouse because they never gave up despite all the things that was just against them. So now I know you're actually serious about getting unstuck and really want to accomplish big things. Otherwise, you wouldn't have watched right up to this point. So I want to make sure this actually sticks for you, that you actually use your laziness to your advantage. This week, I want you to find one task in your business that you could just automate or eliminate completely. Just one, and then you actually do it. Review step one as many times as you need to. Outsmart your brain by taking small steps, make it stupidly small, and then just compound to larger results. Start building that habit of protecting your energy. Start thinking like a real founder meant to achieve big things, because you can achieve big things. Because the goal isn't to work yourself into the ground, it's to make your life easier. The goal is to build something that works, even when you don't want to work. So it's not about why you don't work as hard or why you don't work harder. It's about you working smarter and making systems work for you. Now, if you're serious about your business and your success, then I want you to hit the subscribe button right now, because every single week, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you real practical skills, strategies, and tips to help you build a very successful business. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. And also, I want us to win together. So what I want you to do is, there's a video below, check that out, because I'm sure it's gonna help you grow that much faster. So check out that video below.